All right, so we're continuing on the back of your paper where we're solving quadratic equations level 1. So solving by factoring, including factoring with a GCF. Okay, so for example 3, when you see a problem like this that already has the 2 sets of parentheses, it is already factored for you. Okay, so all you have to do is take each factor and set it equal to 0 and solve. So d minus 5 equals 0, and 3d minus 4 equals 0. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, we'll come back over here and solve this first one for d. So I can add 5 to both sides, and that's d equals 5. Here I can add 4 to both sides. 3d equals 4, and then divide by 3, and that's d equals 4/3. So your two values in which they cross the x-axis, or your two solutions here, are 5 and 4/3. Okay, so looking at the next example. So it is not factored, and hopefully you notice it is a trinomial. So the first thing I want to do is make sure it's equal to 0. Okay, it is equal to 0. Now I want to check for a GCF. Can I divide all 3 numbers by the same number? Okay, and I can do a 2. So my GCF here is 2. So I'm going to write the 2 on the outside. 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared. Negative 20x divided by 2 is negative 10x. 32 divided by 2 is 16. Okay, so now I have a trinomial where I'm trying to figure out, can I factor this anymore? So factors of 16 that would add to give me a negative 10. Okay, so that will be negative 8 and negative 2. Okay, and then I'm going to take each factor, set it equal to 0, and solve. Now, because this one does not have an x, okay, if I do just 2 equals 0, it doesn't have an x, it's just not going to be there. So that is not going to give me a solution. Okay, x minus 8 equals 0, x minus 2 equals 0. So I can add 8 to both sides, x equals 8, add 2 to both sides here, and x equals 2. So your solutions to this one would be x equals 8 and x equals 2. Okay, so let's look at the other 2 examples real quick. All right, so example 5. First off, is it equal to 0? And it is not. So what I want to do, I want to take this 60 and move it to the other side. All I'm doing is moving it. If it had like terms, I would combine like terms with whatever. Okay, so to move this 60, I have to subtract. So that's going to give me 5x squared plus 5x minus 60 equals 0. Okay, then, does it have a GCF? So can you divide all 3 terms by the same number? Okay, and you can. 5 would be your GCF. Okay, so I'm going to put 5 on the outside. 5x squared divided by 5 is just x squared. 5x divided by 5 is just an x. And negative 60 divided by 5 will be negative 12. Okay, now I have a trinomial on the inside of that parentheses. I'm looking for factors of 12 that subtract to give me 1. Okay, so that's going to be x plus 4 and x minus 3. Okay, now I'm going to take each factor and set it equal to 0. Okay, so I'm starting with the 5. 5 equals 0. There's no variable there. Okay, so that part will not give you a solution. X plus 4 equals 0. X plus 3 equals 0. And we'll subtract 4 from both sides here. X equals -4. And we'll subtract 3 from both sides here. And X equals -3. So your solutions to this problem are -4 and -3. Okay, and then the last example. So is it equal to 0? It is not, so I've got to move this 5 in over here. It's positive, so I need to subtract it. Now, since it has an n, I want it to go in the middle. Okay, so when you rewrite it, you'll rewrite it n squared, then minus 5n, and then the minus 36. Okay, so that's in standard form, so make sure it's in standard form. Okay, so now I'm looking for factors of -36 that subtract to give me -5. So 36, I have 9 and 4. Okay, and since I need a -5, my 9 is going to get the negative. Okay, now that it's factored, set each one equal to 0. Okay, so here I will add 9 to both sides. So n equals 9. Here we'll subtract 4 from both sides. N equals -4. So your two solutions to this problem would be n equals 9 and n equals -4.